There was a city named Torreon in Coahuila where people make their life normally with dreams, aspirations, ups, downs, achievements, goals. There are students, workers, athletes, teachers, professionists, etc. There was this teenager named Carlos Gurrola. He used to do his daily routine, go to classes, go to the gym, go to training with his team. He was socially just a chill guy who didn't want to bother anyone and always wanted to have his own space, but he also loved spending time with his friends. He liked to go out with them, having dinners in restaurants, going to the cinema, playing paddle, video games, etc. He also used to enjoy spending time with the girl he liked. Carlos sometimes didn't want to talk to anyone and liked just talking with anybody. At university, sometimes he felt like he couldn't do anything anymore. Not because he didn't like his career, just because he didn't feel enough motivation to do something. He felt that his goals weren't enough and didn't give him enough motivation to keep working on them. Carlos used to think he was just doing things in automatic mode and didn't care about it. One time in a normal day, a regular day, after this 5 to 7 p.m. class, the class named From Prometheus to Marvel. It was a very tired day for him because he had to stay all that day at the university, and at the end, Carlos had a flag football game. After the very tired day, he knew the day was almost over and he was having a great time. Having a great game, enjoying the moment with his teammates, advancing some yards for the team to score, but a pretty bad situation showed up. It was something unpredictable. Carlos didn't think this day could be worse until that happened. He was running as fast as he could until he misstepped and his knee made a crack sound. It was very painful and thought that it was just a little misstep, but at the moment he realized that he couldn't step as normally. He realized he couldn't walk anymore. He had to step out of the game by jumping in one foot and let another of his teammates play. The team ended up losing the game by 30 points. It was a sad night for Carlos and his teammates. After the whole team had the post-game coach talk, Carlos asked a friend of his to help him to get his vehicle as a support. Carlos couldn't as normally. He got to his vehicle and decided to go home, sad and frustrated for the night. He just had, but in midway home, he thought it was better to go to the hospital to know what just happened and what injury what he was having. He wanted to know how long it would take for him to recover from it. So Carlos went to the hospital, filled up all the documents for him to be attended at the hospital, got examined, some x-ray were taken, and finally the doctor told him that there wasn't enough information to say something about the injury he had. The doctor told him that he needed an ultrasound to have a deeper look at his knee. After some days of waiting, he had the ultrasound and met up with the doctor to know what the problem was. The doctor said that he had a very severe injury and that he needed to get a surgery, but there wasn't a hurry to do it. It could be whenever he wanted, but it shouldn't take too long to get the surgery. So he had the surgery and started the recovery, but after some time of the surgery, he realized that it was taking too long for him to recover. It wasn't normal how long he was taking to recover for him. So he went to see many different doctors, and every single one of them was telling him that he wouldn't walk anymore. He wouldn't, and wouldn't have a normal life as he always had. It was sad. So for him, it was like the worst thing it could happen. Now he couldn't walk. Now he just spent time at school and at his house. He didn't like seeing his friends anymore, nor the girl he liked. He just went from the house to school and from school to house. He entered to a severe depression until one day he was alone at his home, at bed. Someone started knocking by the principal door and yelled at his mom, asking to check who was knocking until he remembered his mom wasn't home at the moment and decided to go check the door by himself. He opened the door and it was a strange man, using a hoodie. and it was impossible to see any part of his body. It was like he wasn't there. It was just the floating hoodie. Carlos thought it was the death coming for him already. He got scared and decided to close the door on the face of the strange man. Carlos decided to hide in his room. He entered the room and saw the strange man sitting on the bed. Carlos didn't know what to do. He was just a guy in a wheelchair. He didn't have a way of escaping. Then the strange man stepped in front of him and told Carlos, "Hold on, Carlos. I want to talk to you about some serious stuff." And Carlos yelled, "Get out of my house! I don't know who you are and what you want. Leave, please." The strange man said, "I don't want to hurt you. I want to help you. But listen." And Carlos let the strange man talk. He started saying that he was the God of salvation and hope. Carlos instantly trusted the man and wasn't a strange man for him anymore. His name was Willie Tanat and made a proposal to Carlos. He said that he will fix his knee and he will be able to walk again, to make his life as he always did, and Carlos wanted to, but he didn't know it that would be right. Willie Tanat immediately said that he would need to do something for him. He said that he should be Willie Tanat's helper. And Carlos asked that what will he need to do as a helper, and Willie Tanat said that it wasn't going to be easy. They were going to travel a lot around the world, and he couldn't see his family for some long time, maybe for some years. Carlos, with a lot of doubt, accepted. I mean, what else could he lose? He was in a severe depression. He couldn't walk. He didn't have friends anymore. He didn't have the girl he liked with him anymore, and his family was getting tired of him because he was already an obstacle for them for the problem he had. Then, after Carlos accepted, Willie Tanat used his magic powers and fixed Carlos' knee to be able to walk again. Carlos, after that, started crying for what just happened, and Willie Tanat said that it was already time to leave and start traveling around the world before leaving. Our hero Carlos wrote a letter for his family saying how much he loved them, and he was sorry for leaving, but he just had to do it. He couldn't be having the life he was having at the moment. He finished the letter saying goodbye to her family, hoping he could see them again very soon in the future, but he knew it wasn't gonna be possible. Willie Tanat used his powers and traveled himself with our hero to another place in the world. They were going to Ireland, but during the transportation time, some strange creature started attacking them and Willie Tanat disappeared, leaving our hero alone. He didn't know how to react. This creature was horrible. It was like a dinosaur with the head of the snake. This rare creature attacked Carlos and he didn't know what to do, so he just closed his eyes and realized the snake dinosaur hadn't attacked him. He opened his eyes and realized that there was some type of giant shield covering him. The shield deactivated by itself, and our hero didn't know what to do. The snake dinosaur attacked him, and Carlos just by reflex decided to go hit the creature with his bare hand. He didn't have anything to lose. It was a live or die situation. When he hit the creature, Carlos realized he had super strength and a new ability to think of many scenarios as possible in a matter of milliseconds. It was like he had the ability to see the future with a lot of precision. Our hero knew he had powers and got confident on himself and killed that snake dinosaur by himself. After that happened, magically, Willie Tanat appeared again and amazed by what just happened, saying that he didn't believe our hero did that by himself. He said, "I know I gave you powers, but I didn't think you could use him so soon. Good job, kid." After that, they arrived in Ireland, and it was awesome. Very beautiful place with a lot of good views. They established a place for them to stay, like a base. It was nice and comfy. The time kept going, and Willie Tennant and our heroes started fighting a lot of creatures, saving the world. A new creature every single day. It was very tired for Carlos. It was amazing the life he was having, saving the world, having a good time, discovering new places of the world he never thought he would visit any time of his life, eating good food and getting stronger every time he fought a new creature. It was insane for him. For Willie Tannen, it was just his life for billions of years since the creation of the universe. One day, as any other of the life of Carlos was waking up and realized that Willie Tannen wasn't at the base. It was very weird. Willie Tannen was always there. The hours passed and Willie Tannen hadn't come back. Carlos started worrying about it and started looking for Willie Tannen. Our hero went to a giant cave and started hearing some serious fight. He found his master, the god of salvation and hope, Willie Tannen. He was fighting with a giant three-headed dog. It was huge. It looked like the stronger creature they had fought since they started saving the world. Carlos wanted to help Willie Tannen and desperately asked our hero to not enter the fight. Carlos realized it was stronger than Wulitana, and maybe this god wouldn't be able to win this fight. After hours of fighting and Carlos just watching the fight, Wulitana, the god of salvation and hope, perished. He lost the fight, sadly. Our hero started crying because of the anger he had inside him, because he realized Wulitana, the being who helped him with every problem he had, the one who saved Carlos' life of dying, doing nothing with his life, had just passed away fighting for the world. So, with a lot of anger, our mighty hero started attacking the dog with all the anger of the world. His strength was getting better together with his anger. He was attacking this giant dog with everything he had until this creature perished and our hero thought it was over. But Cerbertronus, the three-headed dog, changed its form. Now it had changed its head. These new heads had everything our hero was scared of. Monster doctors with giant knives. Some recruiters Carlos had fought during these years had the power of creating illusions, making Carlos fall for them, and make him think he was back to his normal life without powers and without being able to walk. It was almost impossible to do something about it. It made our hero to be in a trance, where he was reliving all his world moments. But it was like he couldn't do anything. Now he was just a normal guy without being able to walk and without his powers. There was nothing he could do about it. Our hero decided to surrender. With a lot of tears in his face, he was thinking that it wasn't worth it to keep fighting. He had no way to do something. Finally, the giant three-headed dog decided to make a last attack to our hero, and Carlos, the hero who had fought a lot during the years, just started remembering all the good time he spent with his family, with his friends, with the girl he loved, and with Willie Tannen, God of salvation and hope, his great savior. But he just decided to accept that and nothing about anything else. Sadly, our hero perished too, and the giant three-headed dog won. He won the fight. The strongest living in the world. It wasn't a good ending for our hero, but he fought until the last second for what he loved, friends, family, and Willie Tannen. But at the end, he knew his family would be proud for what he was converted. It wasn't a good ending, but it was a good ending for our hero.